arguing that the 3I-ATLAS could be a nuclear-powered alien spacecraft. Loeb says the Hubble picture appears to show the object emitting its own light.
When 3I-ATLAS first appeared, it was a beautiful visitor from the faraway dark. But the newest findings tell a different story, one that unsettles the brightest minds on Earth. Strange patterns, odd movements, and unexplained signals have left scientists uneasy. What they've just uncovered has turned fascination into worry, and the mystery is only deepening. The mystery glow of the interstellar stranger. When scientists initially observed the strange glow coming from an object in space, they believed it was just sunlight reflecting off a dusty cloud, like with comets. The explanation appeared straightforward at first. As the object moved through space, it emitted dust, and sunlight reflected off these small particles, producing a glowing appearance visible from Earth. However, as more research and extensive calculations were conducted, the narrative evolved, uncovering something much more mysterious. The tests revealed that only a very small amount of dust was being let out. Experts determined that the dust was very sparse, with a density of about 1 million grams per square centimeter. This value was so minuscule that it could not explain the level of brightness they were seeing. In simple terms, this thinness is referred to as optically thin. To put it plainly, it means that although the dust is present, there are so few particles spread out that they do not obstruct or scatter light effectively. Essentially, the dust cloud is close to being invisible. Upon making this discovery, a thought-provoking question emerged. If the dust was not dense enough to justify the intense light, then where was the actual origin of the brightness? As per thorough examinations, it was revealed that the light did not emanate from the dust after all. Rather, it seemed to be radiating directly from the surface of the object. Harvard professor Avi Loeb said that the interstellar object was shining much brighter than expected because its surface was reflecting sunlight in a unique way. He mentioned that for it to shine so brightly, the object must be quite large. If the surface did not reflect sunlight well, the object would need to be about 10 kilometers across. Even if it reflected light perfectly, like a mirror, it would still have to be several kilometers in size. In any case, the object was not just a small rock floating in space. That detail alone was truly remarkable. If the object was simply a regular rock, it would only enter our solar system from interstellar space once every 10,000 years. This makes such an encounter extremely uncommon, increasing the fascination of the mystery. However, there was additional information to consider. Instead of emitting a simple white or yellow light, the object had a noticeable reddish hue. This specific detail was significant to astronomers. A red tint can indicate the presence of intricate organic substances on the surface, which are formed over billions of years due to exposure to cosmic rays and ultraviolet light. This characteristic is commonly observed on Kuiper Belt objects like Arakoth, a remote icy body with a deep red exterior. However, Loeb proposed an even more intriguing idea. He implied that the reddish glow might not actually be from sunlight bouncing off the object. What if the object was emitting its own light? This would suggest that the interstellar visitor was not simply a rock, but something far more remarkable. It could indicate that the object was internally powered, possibly utilizing energy similar to advanced spacecraft, possibly even through nuclear energy. The idea was bold and interesting. A rock shining because of sunlight is one thing, but a spaceship from another star system creating its own light would completely alter our perspective. It would indicate that the glow is not just a reflection, but a result of some kind of internal process, which nature alone might not be able to account for easily. Further research unveiled additional surprising information. The object was challenging to categorize, as it didn't fit the characteristics of a typical comet or asteroid. Its brightness and size were unusual, and its reddish glow suggested the presence of organic substances or its own light cause, the strange visitor that refused to be seen. For several months, scientists observed a strange object floating in space closely. They carefully examined every aspect of its unusual path. Initially, they thought it might behave like a typical comet, with shiny gas streams and luminous tails. However, it turned out to be unique. When scientists checked the surface, they made an unexpected discovery. Very little material had eroded, with only a tiny amount measuring just a fraction of a nanometer. This indicated that the object had journeyed a long distance without undergoing much change. The core of its structure, known as the nucleus, remained unharmed and mostly intact as it traveled through the solar system. This was uncommon for comets, as they typically disintegrate when approaching the sun. However, that was just the start of the puzzling situation. Typically, comets emit dust and gas when they pass by the sun, creating a fuzzy glowing coma and a visible tail. In contrast, a comet called 3I-ATLAS did not exhibit these features. It lacked a dense dust cloud and a glowing tail. It did not emit the expected comet-like brightness. 3I-ATLAS's behavior seemed odd and different from what we know about icy comets. It appeared to be more like a rocky piece or something unique from a distant place outside our solar system. Its lack of movement, sound, and glowing made it stand out as unusual and not following the norms of space. The mystery got more confusing. Professor A.V. Lowe and others noticed some details that brought up even more serious questions. Normally, aliens from other star systems come into our solar system from different angles and paths, not following the same flat orbits as the planets. However, 3I-ATLAS was different. It followed a path that was almost exactly in line with the same flat plane where all the planets orbit the sun. This type of alignment seemed unbelievable. The likelihood of it occurring by chance was extremely low at 0.2%, but there it was, fitting perfectly into the orbital path of our planets. The way it moved appeared intentional, similar to the meticulously planned courses of spacecraft launched from Earth. Rather than a random event, it seemed like a deliberate journey. The mystery became more complex as it kept moving. During its journey, 3I-ATLAS came very near to Venus, Mars, and Jupiter, which are some of Earth's closest neighboring planets. This was a rare occurrence, as the chances of this happening without intention were very low, about 0.0005. It seemed like the object deliberately chose its route to intersect with the planets that are significant to us. However, the journey of 3I-ATLAS took another unexpected turn. When it got closest to the sun, something extraordinary occurred. During this time, Earth was on the opposite side, hidden from view. The sun was positioned directly between our planet and the mysterious object, making it completely invisible from Earth even with our advanced technology. This was more than just a random event. The likelihood of this alignment happening was only about 7%. While it wasn't impossible, the probability was low enough to make people curious. It appeared as if the object deliberately went behind the sun to avoid being seen from Earth. Right when we were eager to observe it, it positioned itself where we couldn't see it. The stranger from the stars. Not all scientists agree with the bold statements made about this mysterious interstellar visitor. Some experts find Avi Loeb's theories lacking in evidence and credibility. They argue that without more solid proof, it is dangerous to consider his views as truth. They refer to some observations that initially indicate the object is just a regular comet. One study suggested the presence of water ice, which aligns with the characteristics of a typical comet traveling through space. However, as researchers delved further into the matter, they discovered something unexpected. They started to analyze the spectrum more closely, observing the behavior of light and energy as they reflected off the object. The results they obtained did not align with the conventional understanding of water ice. Instead of seeing a decrease as predicted by the model, they observed an increase in signals. Conversely, where the model anticipated an increase, the signals actually decreased. These discrepancies were significant and could not be ignored. It seemed as though the universe was hinting that this object was more unique than initially thought. Scientists had more questions than answers because of the mismatch. They were unsure if the object was really a comet or something more unusual that mandated further investigation to determine. Many agreed that the object was difficult to classify. More accurate data was necessary to solve the mystery, which remained unsolved until then. Avi Loeb was fascinated by the strange signals and the path the object would follow after passing close to the sun. The object's journey could provide important clues that might have a significant impact on everything. Avi suggested that if the object deviated from the projected path after its closest approach on October 29, 2025, it could mean something alarming. There could be concerns that the object was not just a rock or ice, but possibly a piece of advanced technology created by beings from another planet. This discovery could cause great upheaval in the world, including financial markets reacting to the possibility of extraterrestrial technology being involved. In 2017, a mysterious object called Oumuamua passed by our solar system. Just like the recent visitor, it brought with it many mysteries. Oumuamua baffled scientists when it sped up slightly after getting close to the sun, in a way that couldn't be explained by gravity alone. It appeared as though there was some unseen force giving it a push, making experts question what exactly caused its movement. Years later, another mysterious visitor is now speeding through space. Currently, it is traveling at a speed of almost 152,000 miles per hour. To comprehend this speed, think about going around the Earth multiple times in just 1 hour. However, in the grand scheme of the universe, this is just another trip for a tiny speck crossing immense, empty regions of darkness. Currently, the object is floating approximately 3.8 times further from the Sun than Earth. However, it is expected to have a series of exciting encounters in the near future. On October 3rd, 2025, it will pass close to Mars as it moves closer to the Sun. 20 days later, on October 23rd, it will reach its closest point to the Sun, still at a safe distance twice the distance of Earth from the Sun. At that time, Earth will be on the other side of the Sun, so there is no risk of any danger. The object will come closest to Earth in December 2025, but it will not come very close. At that time, it will be getting ready to move away from the solar system and will not return. This brief visit is all we will have, and then it will disappear into the vast, quiet void of interstellar space again. Perhaps the most fascinating aspect of it all is not where it's heading or the unusual signals it's sending out, but its age. This object is unbelievably ancient, at least 7 billion years old, maybe even older. To put that into perspective, our solar system is only 4.6 billion years old. This means that when our sun was just starting to shine and the planets were still forming, this object was already very old. It holds the history of a time before our planet existed, a remnant of the universe's distant past. What exactly is this visitor? At first glance, it could easily be mistaken for a comet. Its bright, icy appearance, lengthy tail, and silent journey give off a sense of familiarity. However, upon closer inspection, the discrepancies in its patterns, unusual signals, and the mysterious implications of its movements hint at something more mysterious. The mystery of Comet 3I-ATLAS. When scientists initially pointed the James Webb Space Telescope at the interstellar comet 3I-ATLAS, they were expecting to observe something peculiar. However, the images they captured were astonishing. The telescope provided evidence that this comet had a remarkable secret hidden within its icy core. The research on 3I-ATLAS started shortly after it was found in July, and scientists understood right away that it was not like other comets. Most comets in our solar system come from nearby, but 3I-ATLAS came from a far distance, which made it very uncommon. Only 2 other interstellar objects had been identified before this one, making it a valuable chance for researchers to gather information before it disappeared into space forever. On August 6th, scientists took the first images using the James Webb Space Telescope, using its powerful near-infrared spectrograph to analyze the light emitted by an object. The results were unexpected, as they discovered a higher than usual amount of carbon dioxide in the comet's glowing atmosphere known as a coma. As comets get closer to stars, their icy materials heat up and release gas and dust in a process called outgassing. This forms a glowing halo called a coma, which becomes brighter as the comet nears the star. The Comet 3I-ATLAS had a rare composition with a high amount of carbon dioxide instead of the usual water vapor found in most comets. This unique chemistry suggests that this comet may have originated from a different place than our own solar system. The scientists proposed that the makeup of 3I-ATLAS could have different implications. It's possible that 3I-ATLAS was subjected to higher radiation levels throughout its lifespan compared to regular comets. Alternatively, it could have originated near the CO2 ice line in its parent protoplanetary disk. This disk of gas and dust surrounding a young star is where celestial bodies like planets, asteroids, and comets form. This suggests that 3I-ATLAS was influenced by unique conditions not seen in typical comets. With each new discovery, more fascinating information about this extraordinary traveler was revealed. Traveling at speeds greater than 130,000 miles per hour, it was following a path that appeared unusually smooth and straight, unlike the usual curved orbits seen in our solar system. Its rapid movement indicated that it was not under the gravitational pull of our sun, but was simply passing by as a visitor that would never come back once it left. Originally, estimates suggested that 3I-ATLAS was approximately 7 miles wide, which would have made it one of the biggest comets ever seen. However, further measurements from the Hubble Space Telescope revised this estimate to around 3.5 miles wide. Despite its smaller size, it was still considered impressive and likely the largest interstellar object ever detected. In addition to its size, its age was also remarkable. Some studies indicated that it could be as old as 3 billion years older than the solar system itself. This means it existed long before our sun and planets were even formed, carrying secrets from a time and place that is unimaginably distant. However, despite all the findings, one question remained unanswered. Where did 3I-ATLAS originate from? No telescope had successfully identified its exact star system of origin. Its beginnings were still unknown, a mystery contained within its icy center.